Hello, and welcome back to the second episode of INaction's How to Fix the World in 80 Days. This episode is going to start with what to some people is a pretty controversial statement, which is basically that I have no problem with allowing guns in society. Now, I do say that with all due respect to those who've lost people to gun violence in the past, but my conclusion is that guns don't kill people, people kill people. Unfortunately, since we can't put a ban on people, well, we've got to do something about gun control. Let's start with some basic facts. There are roughly 875 million registered firearms in the world, plus whatever's not registered. That's a gun for every 8.4 people. So whatever your opinion is on guns, these 800-year-old pieces of technology aren't just going to up and Houdini themselves out of the world. These things are here to stay, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, our gun violence is disgraceful. In the US, there are nearly as many mass shootings as there are days in the year, and 60% of homicides are gun-related. In Syria, you can't find food anywhere, but you can find bullet holes and weapons as far as the eye can see. And my personal favorite, in Mozambique, the AK-47 is on the national flag. Really great symbolism, guys. And here's the kicker for anyone thinking these laws are already tough enough. Forget Africa, forget the Middle East. In 80% of US massacres, the guns are purchased 100% legally. South Carolina, San Bernardino, Virginia Tech, Orlando, Colorado, even the guy from Norway, all guns bought legally in the United States. So if you are anti-gun control, that means you're okay with these people getting their hands on guns too. And trust me, they most certainly will. Of course, if I was to give any of these arguments to a gun enthusiast, they're going to come back with, well, if these people have guns, then I most certainly need one too. And I'm not going to argue with you, but let's cut the bullshit. The real reason these people will fight literally to the death to defend their right to bear arms is not to protect themselves from criminals, it's not to save their family, and it sure as hell isn't to fight back against the government. The real reason these people love guns so much is because they're cool. I shot a gun and I had a great time. What's wrong with that? And for 99% of the world, that's all it is. We don't want to hurt anybody. It's just target practice or friendly competition. Owning a gun is no more deadly than a kitchen knife or an extension cord. So why should the majority of us be punished because a small percentage of the population has deadly intentions? Unfortunately, that small percentage of the population is literally retarded, and we need to compensate for that with gun control. Now, I could go on for days with different case studies and statistics, but I calculate I get maybe 5 minutes of your attention span, so I won't go on any longer. Guns are not the problem. Violent people are. We can have guns and common sense gun policies. So we can continue to ignore each other's arguments all you want, but how much longer can we continue to ignore the people who are dying every day? Any solution for gun control is hard because no matter what I do, people are going to be pissed off. Take away the guns. Innocent people get punished. Keep the guns. People are going to die. So gun owners, I cannot stress this enough. My intention is not to take away your guns. I only want to take away the guns of people who wish to harm innocent people. This madness needs to stop, and we can work together. What's wrong with getting a little bit more training before you get your gun license? What's wrong with being on the waiting list a little bit longer? Maybe you can even leave your gun at the range, or perform some kind of semi-regular checkup on gun safety. These are all just little ideas to get the ball rolling. Even better, arms manufacturers can work with technologies like Armatics or IntelliGun. Imagine a gun that won't go off unless it identifies your fingerprint or an RFID tag worn by the owner. My personal suggestion, every single bullet should have a personal signature on it. You better believe people will be more careful with where they leave their gun lying around if it has their name on it. There's also a reason I mentioned the US so many times today. For better or for worse, the world sees you guys as Team America world police when it comes to guns. In fact, 16 of the 20 largest gun manufacturers are American. Even more ironically, you and the other 4 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council represent 5 of the 6 largest gun manufacturers in the world. Now, in times of crisis, we look to our leaders for guidance, and in this case, I just don't see it. In the end, the only solution that will really work is when we start to see guns as entertainment and not as a solution to our problems. It is a privilege to own a gun, not a right, and the weapon needs to be treated with respect. Yes, I understand that guns are in your Constitution, but slavery used to be in there too, and we got rid of that. Obviously, I hope we don't need a civil war to get there, but we can work together. Stronger gun registries are good for the rights of gun owners so we can keep the bad apples out. You can be pro-gun control and pro-gun. What we are doing is not good enough, and we can do better. We will do better. Let's give it a shot.